You mentioned also several times the dugout canoe. People coming down to Stranahan's in the dugout, and that you're actually working on a dugout here. What kind of tree is that?
That's made out of cypress. And I started carving probably about 8 years ago, maybe 9 years ago. There's a story behind how I worked at the tribal office making decent money, and I was dressed in Paradas and I was the man, right? And but I left for political reasons, went over to the museum, got paid half, but it was okay because I got to do my reenactment, and I took up canoe carving. So I started out really small, gave the first one to my mom. She still has it. And the first 2 canoes that I ever carved gave me the most important lessons. Because when I carved my first one, it was so easy. I get my tools from woodcraft.com. I flew down to the post office, got my tools, went out, cut a little piece of log, and I carved it in about 2 hours. So I'm saying to myself, what's the problem with it? There's nothing, hey, stop the world. I got an announcement to make. The canoe carver has arrived, right? So with that same mentality, I said, I got this. So I went and got a little bit bigger one, my second canoe. It turned out nothing like how it's supposed to be. Remember, I'm the best guy that ever carved. So I put it away where our Christmas and all these annual things stay up there so nobody will see it. And I had to bring some stuff down, and my wife now, Melissa, saw that, and she was like, what is that? And I said, it's my canoe. By that time, I had carved about 7 or 8 or 9, and I had in a little spot where my canoe stayed, right? So she was like, why don't you put it over there? And I said, no. And she was like, why not? And I said, why should I? So she said, well, you can look at your progress, how much better you became, and check it out, and where you made your mistakes. So reluctantly, I agreed. So my second worst canoe in my mind went with the others. And I saw it. You know, when I went into my shed, and when I saw it. And I made that connection one day. I took it to Dade City. It was during the COVID time, and they were having homeschool students. And I was telling the mom and the kids that I made this one, and then I brought this second one. I don't know why, because I messed it up. And the lady was like, that's probably your most important one. And she said, there's a lesson in there. And I finally made the connection. I'm like, when I think I know everything, and when I think I got this, I don't. I had to admit and accept and acknowledge that I really didn't know anything. So that's my message to the kids now. I said, if you say something, do something you don't want nobody to know about, like I did, and put it away in back of your mind, in back of your heart somewhere, that's going to ruin your life. You need to bring that up, talk about it, get over it, accept it, move on, because you're not the only one. So the first one and the second one, wow. Once I saw that, my whole attitude, everything changed about carving canoes. I respect that so greatly that guy will probably take me 1.5 years to finish, because I use the ads, and it's one chip at a time, baby. One chip at a time. No grinder will touch that.
Do you use fire in trying to...
That's a technique that was also utilized, but in my opinion, those were more of these guys, the pine trees, because the pines are easier to burn because they're full of sap, but you have to be extra careful, because if you're not, then the whole wood will just burn right through it. Most of the canoes that I've seen that are made out of pine, I haven't what I kind of think is that when metal, iron, and steel were introduced in the early 1700s, I think that's when we kind of possibly maybe switched to the cypress trees. And maybe they were before, maybe they burned the cypress trees, and I'm sure they have, but that's a whole different technique that I haven't even tried yet. My Itkapani means male counterparts of my dad. My dad is an otter clan. My mom is a bird clan. I'm a bird clan. I represent the bird clan. My dad is an otter. So the male counterparts of my dad's clan, the otter, are my Itkapanis. They're like your uncles that the ones that you go to, the one you ask, the one you spend time with, the one you hang out with, the one you kind of follow around. You know, you can't follow all of them around, one of them. But you know what? We're all teachers. Some aren't so good and some aren't so bad, but we're all teachers. Yeah, so the firing and burning, I seen a picture of my my Itkapani, Mr. Bobby Henry. So I've been meaning to ask him about that, but I'm so focused on what I'm doing. Even when I meet him somewhere, I met him at Newport Richie back in April, and I didn't even ask him then. So, you know, it has to be, the time has to be right. You know, I have to be outside in a setting like this. When I'm in four walls, as opposed to being outside, it's totally different. Things come naturally. It's just like today. It's beautiful, you know?
Thank you very much, everybody. See you
Thank
the rest
you.
of the day.
Thank you.